Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley here for ellenhudson.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing two new cards featuring the brand new Hello and Happy Birthday hot foil stamps from the Essentials by Ellen line. Now you're getting an official sneak peek of these products in this video because these products are not available until April 30th, 2021. They're a part of the April 2021 Essentials by Ellen release that's available exclusively at ellenhudson.com. So be sure you check back because you're going to want to see this entire release. Now I'm going to give you some sneak peeks of some other products along the way, but I did want to point out that this Happy Birthday hot foil stamp coordinates with the big scripty Happy Birthday die. So you can use that shadow portion of the big scripty Happy Birthday die with this new Happy Birthday hot foil stamp, and I am going to show that to you. Now, I thought I would point out that these new hot foil stamps are compatible with both the Gemini foil press and the Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system. And the Gemini foil press is meant to be used with the Gemini Junior die cut machine, and the Glimmer hot foil system is compatible with the Spellbinders Platinum 6. These both very much work in the same ways. I'm going to show both of them to you today, but whatever die cut machine you have, that's going to help you decide which of these foiling platforms you should purchase. Now, both of these platforms, foiling machines, come with the necessary plates and some accessories that you need to get started, as well as a cooling mat and some tweezers. And I did want to point out that the foil that you use for these hot foil stamps is a heat transfer foil. It is not the same as the ThermaWeb iCraft Deco foil. That one is compatible with toner printed images. These instead use a combination of heat and pressure to apply the foil to your cardstock or other material. These are compatible with other materials. And I wanted to point out that you can either choose the Gemini or Crafter's Companion foils or the Spellbinder Glimmer foils, and both of these foils will work with either one of these machines because they use the same type of foil. So now that we've got through some of the basics, and if you need to know more about foiling with a hot foil system, I will link a video that I did previously for ellenhudson.com up in the right-hand corner so that you can check that out to get some more detailed information on this. And I'm going to start my projects by laying these hot foil stamps with the back side onto the heated platform. So the actual design is facing up. Now, this platform is hot, and so it's transferring heat to these hot foil plates while they lay there, but I wanted to go over foil placement. The pretty side of your foil is always going to face the design of your hot foil plate. Or you can think about it that the not pretty side will always face your paper, because when you remove that hot foil stamp, you want the pretty side to be facing up. So I'm placing this foil face down onto the design of these hot foil stamps, and then I'm placing my paper on top of that, and then I'm adding the shim that comes with the Gemini hot foil press machine. Once I've let my timer run down, I set my timer for 15 seconds, and I have my machine on the lowest heat setting. I'm going to run that through my Gemini Junior die cut machine just one time, and then I will pull it out and I can remove my paper. And you can see that the foil is pressed into the cardstock. Now, if you want to remove your plates, both machines come with some sort of tool to remove your plates from the hot foil platform. So you can add those on to the cooling pad that's included, and then you can remove the foil. And check this out. It is so beautiful. There is nothing like foil, in my opinion, on a project. Embossing powder is pretty and shiny, but there's nothing like the shine of foil, and I absolutely love these sentiments. Now, as I mentioned before, these machines work very much in the same way. So I'm going to use the Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system and do the same process. I am placing my hot foil stamps with the back side facing the heated platform and the design facing up. Then I'm going to place my foil with the pretty side facing the design of the hot foil stamp, or like I said before, the ugly side facing the paper. And then I am going to cover this with the thin shim and the spacer plate included with the Glimmer hot foil system. I'm going to hit my timer button, and once the timer runs out, I'm going to remove the platform from the base and run that through my Platinum 6 die cutting machine. And that's applying the pressure that I need to transfer the foil onto my cardstock. Now you can see that foil once again is pressed into the cardstock, and I can move all of my stuff out of the way and remove the backer from this foil. And once again, I have a beautifully foiled image. So both of these machines work to transfer the foil to your cardstock. So both of these will work, but you'll just want to determine which hot foil system that you purchase based on which die cut machine that you own. You can see I get beautiful foiled images. Now, sometimes you can get a little bit of overfoiling from the corners of your foil or something like that. That is really easy to remedy. You can use a mono sand eraser or a regular pencil eraser. I will have those both linked in the supply list below to remove the excess foil, and you can see I have a beautiful foiled image. Now I have the shadow die from the Big Scripty Happy Birthday die set from the Essentials by Ellen line. And I'm going to line that up around my Happy Birthday foiled sentiment here. And I'm going to hold it in place with a little bit of purple tape. And I'm going to run this through my Gemini Junior die cut machine to die cut this. Now this die, just like the hot foil plates, will work with your Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine as well. I just happen to have my Gemini Junior out on my surface right now, so that's what I use to die cut this beautiful foil image. Now I also die cut this shadow die from some Neenah Solar White heavyweight cardstock several times because I'm going to be stacking up the sentiment to create some dimension here in just a little bit. But for now, I am going to stamp some images from a brand new stamp set from the Essentials by Ellen line. This is called Cake. It is also available in the April release from the Essentials by Ellen line, so it's not available until April 30th. But I'm giving you a sneak peek here. I've stamped the outlines of these images using the Gina K Obsidian Amalgam ink, and now I'm taking these little filler images and I'm using some various colors of ink to stamp the color into these images. Now, I love stamp sets like this because I don't always love to color, but these stamp sets give you the option of either coloring with Copic markers, colored pencils, or other types of markers or watercolor. Or you can use the solid filler images to fill in the color on your images. I find this goes a lot faster for me, and it's kind of forgiving because you can kind of get away with it going out of the lines a little bit. It gives you that artistic kind of offset look. And I've just used a few colors of ink here, a couple from Catherine Pooler and a Distress ink to stamp these solid images inside of the outline, and then I'm going to use the coordinating dies to die cut these images. Now, foiled images look amazing on vellum, they look amazing on white cardstock, and they look really, really stunning on colored cardstock as well. And I thought I would kind of play off that colored cardstock idea and do a little ink blending over my foiled sentiment here. So I have some Catherine Pooler It's a Girl ink and a blending brush, and I'm adding some pink ink onto the right side of my image, and I'm using the Catherine Pooler Meant to Be ink over the left side of my image, kind of creating this gradient effect. Now, I am blending right over the foil. It's not a problem at all. That foil is kind of a slick surface and it will resist a dye ink. So just keep in mind that you'll want to use a dye ink. I blended right over the top, and once I've cleaned up my work surface, I'm going to just wipe over the top of my foil. And you can see my foil is as shiny as ever, but I have this beautiful ink blended background. Now, you could definitely ink blend your background and then foil on top of that as well. But this gave me more control over where my colors were landing on the actual finished die cut piece. And it kind of allows you to get those edges a little bit darker because the edges of your die cut will catch that brush naturally and add a little darker halo around the edge of the die cut. So I chose to do it this way. Now I'm using some Lawn Fawn glue tube, and I have 3 additional die cut shadow images for that happy birthday greeting. And I've die cut them from some Nina Solar White heavyweight cardstock. And I'm using some liquid glue to just stack these shadow pieces on top of each other with that foiled sentiment on the top to create some dimension behind this die cut image. Now you could definitely use foam tape behind this to give it some dimension. I just happen to like this really solid, almost chipboard-like feel that you get when you stack several layers of cardstock on top of each other behind a heavy-duty sentiment like this. It just really creates a nice, sturdy focal image in the middle of your card, and it kind of has that chipboard feel to it. Now I have a sentiment from the cake stamp set. It says it's all about the sprinkles, and I'm kind of just figuring out my design here, and I'm going to stamp that right below my foiled sentiment onto my card front using some Gina K Obsidian Amalgam ink. And that is going to just kind of nestle in underneath this foiled sentiment that I've created. I'm going to add my foiled sentiment onto the card front using some liquid adhesive, some liquid glue from Lawn Fawn. You could also use a tape runner here. And I'm going to press that into place. And while it's still wet, I'm going to take these 2 images from the cake die set. I'm going to add some liquid glue, and I'm going to slide them behind that foiled and ink blended sentiment that I created. Now, once I have all of my die cut and colored images in place, I'm going to finish this card off using some embellishments from Pretty Pink Posh. I have these fun clay sprinkles from Pretty Pink Posh, as well as these mini gold hearts. I think they are so adorable. And I sprinkled some of those gold hearts around just to kind of bring the gold to other areas of this card. Now that is the card front. I just finished this card off by adding some foam adhesive behind this card front and adding it to a top folding A2 size card base that I created from some Essentials by Ellen linen cardstock. Now let's move on to card number 2. I'm going to be using this Hello Hot Foil stamp, and this time I am going to be positioning it onto my card front using a hinge method. So I'm just using some purple tape to hold that in place where I want it, and then I can fold it back on that tape and add my foil underneath the hot foil stamp. Remember, the pretty side faces your hot foil stamp design, and the dull or not pretty side will always face your cardstock. I'm just kind of making sure that the foil is down to the base of this hot foil stamp. Then I can take this entire grouping and flip it with the back side of that hot foil stamp touching the platform of my foil press. Now this would be the same process if you're using the Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system as well. I set my timer for 15 seconds, and when that ran out, I can remove my platform from the base and run it through my Gemini Junior die cut machine. Now, all of these machines are applying both heat and pressure to transfer this foil onto your cardstock. So you do get kind of a little bit of debossing. You will get a more dramatic debossing depending on the weight and the thickness and kind of the lushness of the cardstock that you use. Today, I am using some Nina Solar White heavyweight cardstock. Now this card front I die cut using the brand new 4-bar essential rectangle dies from the Essentials by Ellen line. That's another part of the brand new release coming at the end of April. And I did a little bit of ink blending right over my foiling again, kind of creating an ombre effect with the darkest pink color at the bottom of my card front and working my way up and kind of fading out into white. Now, I have this sentiment here that says, "You're my favorite notification." This is from the brand new Love Notes stamp set, also available at the end of April. I know, I'm just giving you all these teasers today. And I'm stamping it at an angle below that foiled greeting using the Gina K Obsidian Amalgam ink. And I did place this into my MISTI so that I could double stamp it. I added some foam adhesive on the back side of this card front, and then added the card front onto a 4-bar sized card base. And I will go over 4-bar cards with you at another time, but I've created these in the past and I'll try to link to a video here. Now this little image is also from the Love Notes stamp set. I've stamped that and then colored it using some Copic markers and die cut it using the coordinating dies. And then I've placed it onto my card front with a little bit of foam adhesive behind it to add some dimension. And once again, I'm just finishing this card off with some of those embellishments from Pretty Pink Posh. And that finishes off my second card for today, featuring some ink blending over these hot foil stamped images. Now, I'm not sure if you have tried ink blending over foiling in the past, but it turns out absolutely beautiful. And as I mentioned before, because that foil is kind of a slick surface, it really will resist a dye ink, and it's not going to pick up ink over the top of the foil and take away from the shininess. So this is a great way to create an ink blended background behind your foil stamping. And as I mentioned before, you could absolutely do your ink blending first, but if you want to know kind of where your sentiment is landing and kind of do your ink blending around that on the card, sometimes it's helpful to do your hot foil stamping first and then your ink blending. So there you have it, a couple of cards featuring hot foil stamping, some information on both the Gemini foil press and the Glimmer hot foil system. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you feel inspired to use some ink blending over your next hot foil stamped sentiments or images. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube, so be sure to check there. Or you can head on over to the ellenhudson.com blog. I will have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. As always, thanks for stopping by and spending time with me today. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on the ellenhudson.com YouTube channel so you won't miss any of our paper crafting and card making video tutorials. And also, be sure to join us on April 30th for the brand new Essentials by Ellen release. This has some great stamps and dies and hot foil plates that you are not going to want to miss. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.